Hi, everybody, and welcome to our course. This is WL 436. It's fall 2026, and this is an asynchronous class. My name is Dr. Allie Turner, and I'll be your instructor for this course, and really looking forward to working with you and getting to know you and learning more about your goals in terms of where this class might play a role for you or just your interest in this topic. So let's jump right in. I want to take you through a little bit of a welcome to the course and some introductions, and then we'll take a look at the syllabus and the course schedule, hopefully answering questions that you might have about due dates and assignments, etc. Then we'll talk a little bit about what is culture. This is kind of the first topic of the course, specifically along the lines of what is the culture of our students that they bring to the classroom? And then also, what is the lens, the cultural lens that we bring ourselves? Because both teachers and students bring culture with them to the classroom. Nothing is left, at the school doors or the classroom doors. This is all with the goal of introducing culturally responsive teaching. That's the topic of your first short article for this reading. And we'll just start to talk about, how does this play a role in how you see yourself in the future? So with that, welcome to our course. And the goal of this course is really looking at this intersection of immigration and education. And originally, the course started with just a focus on United States. But since then, because of the interests of our students are looking globally, often to teach English or to live abroad or to travel abroad, we also really want to prepare our students to think about teaching English as a foreign language, which would be teaching English outside the United States. So we're really going to focus on some of the US challenges and opportunities that there are, but I have also created leeway and opportunities for you, especially if you're interested more in thinking more globally, more moving abroad, to apply that to our projects and our assignments. Okay. This is a picture outside Refugee Hope Partners. It's a local community-based organization here in Raleigh that helps provide housing for new refugee families. And I like this quote that talks about how language and culture are intertwined. It's really part of my philosophy. So just read the quote along with me. It says the language or the word carries within it the history, the culture, the traditions, the very way of life of a people, the flesh. Language is people. We cannot even conceive of a people without a language or a language without a people. The two are one and the same. To know one is to know the other. And I just think that's powerful in terms of thinking about language learning as a way of opening doors to knowing other people. It certainly has been in my own life as studying Spanish and being able to connect with people in ways that I wouldn't otherwise have had the opportunity to do so. And then likewise, as being an English language teacher, providing that bridge to others who are looking either to learn English for multiple reasons, or they're here in the United States and it's, of course, for their survival, their work, their children's well-being, etc. Okay, so a little bit about me. Let's see, I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina. I was born in Asheville and went to high school at TC Robertson. And my family is originally from Kansas, so this was a big move for my family. We had never seen so many mountains and green trees. And I still remember to this day, being a kindergartner and entering elementary school there in Asheville. And then I did my undergraduate years at UNC Chapel Hill, where I majored in Spanish and business. And then I did something called the Masters of Arts in Teaching, MAT. Some of you might be familiar with that. It's essentially a summer to summer degree, so like a 1 year plus for teaching. So that gave me my teaching credential, and I was a North Carolina teaching fellow. So I knew that I wanted to teach Spanish. I found my first job at Northwest Guilford High School in Greensboro, where my sister was a social studies teacher. So there was two teachers, family teachers there in the school, which was a lot of fun. And then after that, I started teaching Spanish at NC State and decided to go back and get my doctoral degree at UNC Chapel Hill. And I did it in a program at that time called Community, Culture, and Change. And essentially, my focus was on ESL education, bilingual education, working with multilingual learners and newcomers, and completed my PhD and came back to NC State, where I have now had the opportunity to teach English at a very high level. If you know international students at NC State, you know that their level of proficiency is very high. So I'm kind of working with those types of students. And I've also done community ESL, kind of on the other end of spectrum with people learning the very first words of English. And along the ways, I have a husband, of course, here living in Raleigh, and my two kids, who one is in high school and one is a eighth grader. So just a little bit about me. I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about yourself. First, how to get in touch with me. This is my office. It's in Withers Hall. That's kind of on main campus, third floor, um, past the main office. And my office hours will be Tuesdays and Thursdays this semester from 12 to 2. But of course, if that does not work for your schedule, please email me and we can meet in person or via Zoom, whatever is more convenient for both of us, depending on the day and time. And my email is there for you. And this information is also in the syllabus, of course. And so, as I mentioned, I want to know more about you and who everybody is in this classroom. Oftentimes, I have a mix of undergraduate students. I also sometimes have practicing teachers, maybe K-8 or 9 through 12 teachers, or other specialists or multilingual teachers or other people. So I do want to know more about you. So in that first discussion forum, I'm going to invite you to create a short video about yourself, just like I'm doing. You might just use Zoom and then you can upload it to YouTube and then share the link with us. And I want you just to choose at least one prompt from each of those categories. And this is available for you on Moodle as well, but I just wanted to share it while we're here together. So you'll answer something about getting to know you. If you want to answer more than one, you're welcome to. Share a little bit about who you are, experiences and perspectives. Tell me about something related to maybe learning another culture or another language. Then a reflection on teaching and learning, just kind of getting your general idea about what it might be like to be a teacher of multilingual learners. And then a little bit about critical reflection and identity, and looking forward, a goal that you have, and then something for fun. So, for this particular discussion forum, unlike the rest of the discussion forums, because I want you to get to know each other a little bit, and being an asynchronous class where we're not going to have as many opportunities to do that with our weekly meetings, I'm going to ask you to read and respond to at least 3 classmates' posts. And you can do that with your own video again, or if you prefer just a written response, a typed response, that is also great. Okay, so it's time to take a look at the course syllabus and the schedule and this week's tasks. And we're going to start with that course syllabus. So I have it pulled up here. So this is available for you on Moodle. And let me just see if I can make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, so as you can see here at the top, I'm just going to walk through this with you. Feel free to skip ahead if this is information that is very familiar to you. So it just has my contact information, talks about my office hours and my email, and how we'll be using Moodle this semester, our official catalog description, as well as an overview. Um, so this I think is important for you to know. So just bear with me as I take a moment to read this part. This course examines the socio-cultural contexts that shape the educational experiences and language development of multilingual learners, MLs. Grounded in research and theory, candidates will investigate the academic, personal, familial, and socio-political factors that influence multilingual learners' learning. Emphasis is placed on developing individualized instructional and assessment practices, recognizing the role of educator identity and bias, and promoting culturally responsive teaching. Candidates will also engage in professional reflection, explore relevant policies and legislation, and learn strategies for advocacy, collaboration, and continuous growth as educators of multilingual learners. While this course is asynchronous, there will be times during the semester in which you will be asked to meet with me or in small groups via Zoom. There will also be options to attend field experiences, and alternatives to the in-person experiences will be offered in case you live far away or have some other circumstance affecting you. Okay, so I think that's helpful, just kind of giving a little overview of our course. We are especially working on the initial TESOL teacher preparation standards, Standard 2, the sociocultural context of our ELLs or our multilingual learners, and then also Standard 5, which is professionalism and leadership. So those are the two main focuses of this course. With English language learners in the sociocultural context, we're looking at, impact of academic, personal, familial, cultural, social, sociopolitical contexts. We're looking at academic, personal, familial, cultural, social contexts. We're looking at research and theories of cultural and linguistic diversity, implementing methods to understand English language learners' academic characteristics, background knowledge, etc. Um, and then even identifying and describing the impact of his or her own identity, role, cultural lens, personal bias, conscious knowledge. With professionalism and leadership, the goal really here is to demonstrate professionalism, demonstrate and develop leadership by collaborating with other educators, knowing policies and legislation about the rights of English language learners, advocating for English language learners and their families, engaging in self-assessment and reflection, and pursuing continuous professional development to hone your teaching practice with supervised teaching. Okay. So, moving into course materials, there is a required text for this class. It is Wainwright's Teaching English Language Learners, Research Theory, Policy, and Practice. And this is the fourth edition, so don't purchase a earlier edition. This is available online through the NC State libraries. I also have downloaded the chapters that you will need, and they're in our shared folder. I say required text because we come back to this text in a later course, which maybe you've already taken. It's 437 Strategies in Curriculum Design. Therefore, it's helpful to have the physical book, but at this point, you can get away with not purchasing it. Okay. So there's also a choice of a book for a book study. This is a novel. You can often find used copies of these books. I also have a copy of each of the books for the book study, which if you wanted to borrow it, you could also do that for a short time and bring it back to me. All other articles and materials will be available through either a shared Google folder or Moodle or in some other electronic form. And there's information for you if you prefer to print or if you're going to read these articles online. And then just one caveat, this, of course, really does engage diverse scholarly perspectives. And the goal is really to help you continue to develop your critical thinking, your analysis, be able to debate, the pros and cons of things. So my inclusion of readings does not necessarily imply endorsement, but rather just opportunity to expose you and classmates to diverse perspectives and opinions so that we can talk about them together and research more about those ideas. I think that's really important to understand, but also, to base your class around that opportunity. Okay, technology requirements. This is what you're going to need to be able to navigate and use for our course. And these are the grading components for our final grade in this class. You'll notice that there's no written final exam, just a culminating project. So we'll talk about each of these in turn. Let's begin with the online discussion forum and office chats. Online discussion forum. Each week, you will respond to discussion forum prompts that ask you to synthesize readings and other course materials, including those field experiences, make connections to personal experience, engage thoughtfully with classmates. With most online discussion forums, with the exception of the first discussion forum, you will be asked to read and respond to at least one classmate's post. That's just one. In the first week, I ask you to read and respond to three classmates' posts, as I mentioned earlier. Now, for timing for asynchronous classes, okay, this is sometimes tricky, so that's why I have it set up in this way. Your initial response to the discussion forum prompt is always due by Thursday of that week by midnight. The discussion forums are already available on the Moodle, so you can work ahead. And it tells you it has to be a minimum of 500 words, or if it's video based, a minimum of 5 minutes. You do need to do particular things like use a quote. And then you have to turn around and respond substantively to at least one classmate by Monday at noon. So you initial post, or you can read all week. Let's say you start your week on Monday. You can watch my video, do the readings, etc. Then you fill out your discussion forum response prior to Thursday at midnight. Then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning. You have to respond by Monday at noon to at least one of your classmates. I have found that this timing works the best. There's no perfect solution because everybody has unique schedules, but I have found that having that flexibility over the weekend helps students with families, with full-time jobs, with other responsibilities to give them that flexible time to complete these assignments. So that is what we'll do. Yep. Those are the deadlines. All right. Discussion forum posts are graded according to a rubric, although sometimes they're just graded on whether or not you completed it satisfactorily. And then there's these office chats. These are virtual chats that happen on Zoom. They'll happen 3 times during the semester, so it's not weekly, it's just 3 times. The goal of this is just for me to have, personal contact with you. You're going to be seeing a lot of my face, but I won't get to see you as much, except with those field experiences. And so I really want to have a chance just to pause, check in, and just, make sure that you have no questions about assignments or readings or anything that's going on in the class. So they're not necessarily like, discussion time in terms of like, what are we reading? But it's time for you to bring up any questions or concerns that you might have. Okay. So definitely low stress. This is not a stressful chat that will take place. Okay, so all of those together make up 20% of your grade. Then you will have 3 community field experiences throughout the semester. So more about that. And I will just mention that on the syllabus, anything in blue is a hyperlink to another document with more details. Okay. So I've really tried to make things as explicit as possible. Takes a lot of time, a lot of organization to plan this out ahead of time. So please take advantage of these resources that have been created for you and ask me if you have questions about things. Sometimes I might change one detail on one document and then, it might not get carried over. So if you have a question about something, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me about it. All right, let's talk about community field experiences. So, throughout the semester, you'll be invited to participate in in-person field experiences. Yes, this is an asynchronous class, but we know from research how important it is to have in-person opportunities for us to engage, talk with one another, and more importantly, for you to engage with the community around you in this around the topics that we're studying in class, which have to do with culture and immigration and education. So you get to choose what you do based upon your schedule, and there's some flexibility. You will have a reflection to turn in after each of those, It's a multimodal reflection, meaning that you have choice in how you present what you learned, what you did, what you experienced during that event. So, more on that here. And you can take a look at this. This is still growing at this point. Our semester hasn't quite started, but there are options with some dates for the dates that have been decided. There's just general festivals in the town or in the surrounding towns around Raleigh. Um, there are organizations in the town. And you even have the choice to watch a documentary, although only one is allowed of those three field experiences. And you also have the choice to suggest a thing. So if you're finding, you live in a town outside of Raleigh and there is a cultural event going on in your town, you will let me know that in advance, with a quick email with details about what's going on. And absolutely, that can count as a field experience. Now, I love these in particular because you will be seeing me and you will see your classmates. I can't guarantee I'm going to be at every one of these festivals, but because I've got soccer schedules on the weekend with my children, but I will try to be at as many as I possibly can. And one that I just want to plug is the North Carolina Museum of Art on September 11th. I will be leading that tour. I trained over the summer with the tour director of the North Carolina Museum of Art. We're going to look at artwork specifically related to immigrants and refugees. I think that'll be a really nice visit. So I hope that you will consider adding that to your schedule. Okay, so once you attend your community field experience, then what? You'll submit a short multimodal reflection. And the idea is here, it shares here, that you will just kind of share, answer some prompts. You can choose 2 to 3 prompts to guide your reflection. You can choose one of the following formats, like a photo and audio reflection, a video reflection, visual reflection board, field notes journal, another type of creative reflection, and then the rubric that I will use to grade you. Okay. So start thinking about what you might want to do. Okay, so that was three of those together make up 15% of your grade. Another 15% of your grade is your book study. Now, there's a whole separate video about the book study, so I won't go into great detail at this point. But over the course of the semester, you have to read a longer novel. So the idea here is you're going more in depth on one person's story or, kind of a more personalized look at the topics that we're talking about in class. So you have to choose a novel that you have not previously read. You'll read the book and create a short 7 to 10 minute video presentation with slides for your classmates, just telling them about it. There's prompts provided. And again, like I just mentioned, it's really designed to help you maybe empathize or think about the personal cost and experience of people in these situations. Those come through really well through novels, right? Or, sometimes nonfiction as well. Okay, that's 15%. Let's go to the next one, and that is your critical autoethnographic narrative, another 15% of your grade. In this project, you're going to reflect on your own identity. We're start to talk about this here at the beginning of the course, and it's the goal here is to help you reflect upon your background, your experiences, the people that have influenced you over the course of your life, and how you bring those things with you into the classroom and how that might affect you. So, kind of what creates the cultural lens that you carry with you into the classroom. So, it's a bit of a, self-reflection type assignment. And that one also has details here for you. So you can see all the details about the prompts that you'll write, the length of the paper for you guys. It's going to be 5 to 7 pages, double spaced, exactly what you want to say, how you'll be graded, etc. Okay. All right. So that covers the first 4 assignments of the course. We have just 2 more. So one of them is reading videos. And for the reading videos, I'm asking you to choose 2 weeks during the semester in which you will do the creation and preparing of short videos with PowerPoints to guide classmates through course readings and other materials. So again, there is a document here that I've prepared for you to go into greater detail about the assignment and how long it needs to be, what it needs to include, and when you need to turn it in. So as you choose your week, and we have a link where you'll be choosing the 2 weeks where you will do the reading videos. So for that week, you have to turn in your reading video on Monday by 5 p.m. so that your classmates will have time to look at your video, do the readings before the discussion form is due on Thursday. Okay, so that's just twice during the semester. And that will be broken up for another 15% of your grade. And your very last culminating project for the semester, which is worth 20% of your grade, you get options here. And again, I mentioned to you that really try to be thoughtful about how this course will meet your needs in terms of whether or not you plan to teach English in the United States or you plan to teach English abroad, or you plan to maybe just use these ideas in a different profession or line of work. And hopefully this will meet your needs for something that is useful for you in terms of thinking about future work. Now, I say that with the caveat that you can always talk with me if you feel like there is a better option for your culminating project that would be more useful for your development and to share, to go a bit more in depth on one of these topics from the class. Okay, so there's 3 options right now. There's a projected timeline that you want to take a look at, and 3 different options, including interviewing a multilingual learner student and writing a Funds of Knowledge report. That's the first one. The second one is exploring English language teaching in global contexts, and this includes, interviewing an experienced English as a second language or English as a foreign language teacher. And I have a list of those that you might want to contact. And then the third one is a more of a traditional option, like a research paper, a literature review about one of the topics from our course that maybe was of interest to you. Okay, so lots of information here for you on that. And we will dig into this a little bit more in the future. Okay, so that covers our course components, right? So lots of things there. If you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Your course schedule is available on Moodle, and we'll go over that in a moment. There's course policies about email and late assignments. So just let me say that I expect your emails to be polite and professional. And just know that if you send it over the weekend, it might not be answered until the next workday, just depending upon what I have going on. If you do not hear back from me in 48 hours, please email me again. It maybe was missed by accident. Sometimes my inbox fills up quickly, and it is not that I'm ignoring your questions, just simply got lost. Okay. Always check the course syllabus, reach out to a classmate before emailing about a course assignment. It's likely you can find your answers. Like I mentioned, I have taken a lot of time designing the assignments, each one of them. Really tried to be thoughtful about including all the instructions for you as much as possible. Um, a lot of times students ask me if I have examples, and because I am always tweaking my assignments from semester to semester to improve them, I don't often have assignments or examples that match the current assignment. And so, that is really up to the student in terms of, being creative and thinking through how they want to answer the prompts that are provided. Okay, let's talk about late assignments, because what if you miss that deadline on Thursday for the discussion forum? Late assignments are only permitted in the case of verified, documented emergencies. There's the attendance policy here. So in that case, with illnesses, for example, if you, let's see here, if you miss an assignment, and let's say you were sick or something, um, I'm trying to find the exact area. Yes, students with university recognized excused absences. So that's sicknesses, travel with university, other things that are covered under the NC State excused absent policy. You usually will have 1 week following that excused absence to complete the missed work. However, if you just miss the discussion forum post because you just forgot or missed it, and you don't have any documentation that you were sick or something, you were away from the university, etc., then you receive a 0 on that assignment. I have, as the instructor, the leeway to determine appropriate makeup assignments, how I'm going to grade them, and deadlines, all based upon the circumstances. But you are, as a student, responsible for obtaining any missed course materials and completing all the required work. Now, because this is an asynchronous course and things are laid out for you, um, I encourage you to, look ahead and see what you can complete, so that you can stay up to date. Things are going to happen during the semester. You might get sick. You might, have a family emergency or a friend emergency that you need to take care of. And I certainly understand that. But that being said, you still need to meet the deadlines unless you're able to provide documentation to excuse your absence so that you're able to make up that work. Okay. If you find that you're experiencing extended medical, family, or personal emergencies during the semester, please reach out to me as soon as you can. And let us discuss options. You can also talk to your academic advisor about, what can I do in this situation? It's really important for you both financially and academically to make sure that you're making the right decision, to not cost yourself excessive money or excessive time. Okay. And then just finally about major assignments, they are announced well in advance. So, for example, the culminating project, 16 weeks in advance, you know when it's due. And I really expect you to plan accordingly, unless there is some kind of emergency that happens for the absence policy to come into play. Um, Major assignment deadlines remain in effect. Okay. So, really important that you are aware of the situation with late assignments and with absences. All the other university policies are standard for the university, but you can certainly take a look at all of these that are linked here for you. AI. Well, artificial intelligence is a big part of our life and it's not going anywhere, and we know that. We recognize the great potential for that. I mean, especially as educators, it's like talking to a colleague at sometimes, in terms of bouncing ideas off of them, getting started, brainstorming. But I also expect for any work that you turn in that it's your own work and that it's your creative endeavor. And I find that there's a lot of value in that in terms of really standing behind what you turn in as your creative efforts. Unless otherwise stated, when I'll let you know when AI tools may be used and how they may be used. But otherwise, it would be expected that you are not using any AI tools to complete any portion of assignments that you're submitting for a grade and that you are abiding by the code of student conduct in that case. If you have questions about that policy about AI or what's a valid use of AI, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be happy to clarify. Trans-inclusive statement, of course, and mental health. Very important to me that you feel comfortable in our class and in our community here at NC State. If you feel like you need some support in those areas, please don't hesitate to reach out to me so I can direct you to the right people or to the counseling center Get Started page, which is here. They're excellent. They will support you. As we move through the semester, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be some barriers in the road. So you want to be well prepared about the resources that are available to you as a student. Okay, digital course components. This is hosted on Moodle, just a just so you know. And in terms of our syllabus, this is a flexible agreement. So if I have to make changes to it, like the order of topics or deleting a reading, don't work too far ahead because, you would be disappointed if I eliminated a reading that you spent time doing. So that being said, 1 to 2 weeks ahead would be the maximum you want to do. There's course evaluations, which are really important at the end of the semester. Just like you receive a grade at the end of the semester, I need to know how I'm doing as your instructor and how I can improve for the next cohort of students, because it's my goal to continue to improve as a professional, and I need a grade. And my boss needs me to have a grade. So, more on course evaluations as we get closer to the end of the semester, but very important that you take the time to fill those out and let people know what you liked and where things could be improved. Okay, and then I end with these professional organizations that support multilingual learners and support teachers who work with multilingual learners. All of these I am involved with personally, and they're all wonderful. They have a lot of professional development opportunities, and I just list them here for you to maybe explore, see what they have, and just a bookmark, perhaps for future use if you do end up becoming a multilingual learner's teacher. So that is the course syllabus, and we're getting extended on time here. So let me go ahead and pause this video and I'll pick up in the next one. Thank you guys for listening and for being here and hearing all this information about the semester ahead. And I will see you in the next video.